people today. I did not know up to an hour ago that it was Saturday. What is this, a bunch of illegals stealing money? People stealing money at intersections. Yeah. I didn't know it was Saturday. I don't have days. Every day's the same. Channing gets up and goes kills himself and goes home. Every day. Channing gets up and tries not to be killed every day. It has been a rough week. I have been under so the frequencies, the thought to skull has been outrageous this week. They have hit me everything. It's literally like a pile driver on my head and shoulders, trying to just knock me down. Just trying to cram me down in the ground. Just emotionally just wrecked me. It's like when a boat's sinking and you're trying to get the water out with a spoon, and it's coming in 1,000 gallons at a time. That's my life. I don't know the last video I posted. I can't remember. But is anybody even in here? 2 minutes in, if ain't right here, I'm just 10 billion people in the world, and me being all alone, I can't even get one person online. I want to hear you. You're crazy. I was attempting to listen because I told you America has fallen already. Well, the news is all to pieces now. Donald Trump has gotten convicted of felonies. I'm an empath. I can look at that man and tell me, and it tells me how much pain he's in. Listen, you can judge him with your eyes. God's going to judge Donald Trump. But you're telling me $40 million that the FBI spent investigating him during his administration, they couldn't find a crime, but now we're going to get him and convict him on 34 felonies? I was attempting to watch the debate between Andrew Cuomo and Dave Smith. Now, Dave Smith's a libertarian. What's a libertarian? When I first got my driver's license, they had a question on there: what political party are you? Libertarian? And it's like a person who don't want to pay taxes. I was like, hell, I don't want to pay taxes. I'll be a libertarian. These are the biggest loudmouths with no backbone I have ever seen. Hey, we're going to stand up for what we believe. We're going to lose every time, but we're going to do it. Listen, I don't mind losing for my beliefs. But if your beliefs are always losing, then you don't have a winning belief. Not winning in polls, but winning like it's convincing, like it's a good argument to have. So here Dave Smith is with Andrew Cuomo, and listen, I can't take 2 minutes of Andrew Cuomo. He is a narcissist. He is from another dynasty family. He's a multi-millionaire, and he never had to wipe his ass to be that way. He got paid to be on CNN and lie to the public. This is a guy who couldn't get into Hollywood if he wanted to. What's up, TN News? He couldn't get into Hollywood if he wanted to. But he pretended for 30 days to be locked in his basement with COVID, trying not to infect the world. Patrick Bet-David is an idiot for bringing him on his channel and giving him a platform. It's almost like, hey, we're going to pay you so we don't lose this voice of reason, Andrew Cuomo. Everything this man says is a lie. Everything, every word that comes out of Cuomo's mouth is a lie. So Dave Smith's like, you need to apologize for vilifying people during COVID. Apologize for vilifying Joe Rogan over his ivermectin stance. I don't have to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. I was giving the information that I had, and that's what I was supposed to do. I'm about to have freaking road rage, and I'm trying not to. Deport yourself. I can't stand somebody to get in the go lane and do 5 miles an hour under the speed limit. I don't do that. Why did you get in that lane? Why were you driving in that lane the whole time? That's what they told me last time I was driving. Why were you in that lane the whole time riding? Because I was doing above the speed limit in that lane. And I don't mean I was doing 46 miles an hour in a 45 and I was going fast. So here's Andrew Cuomo, lie after lie after lie after lie. And the audience is yelling and screaming. And listen, Dave Smith is another one of these guys that I don't understand this. All the people that say that these people are intelligent, and I'm like, let me watch this and see. It isn't that Dave Smith's intelligent. Somehow, he got a platform. No, wait a second. I know it is. The powers that be said you are allowed to talk. I mean, listen, look at Hollywood. You're saying because they made it in Hollywood, they're intelligent? What? Dave Smith's a very intelligent guy. I agree he's probably well read on issues, but listen, back when I was in the political sphere, watching everything and being a sponge and sucking up all this information, I could tell you House seats, congressional seats. I knew the things that were coming up, the things that were going to be discussed. I could tell you ahead of time what was going to happen, and I was right every time. Every time. Dave Smith's really, really intelligent. Here he's up there. Well, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump at all, but you know, this thing that they convicted him of, I mean, it's a misdemeanor at best. No, it's not even a misdemeanor because the statute of limitations will run out, and Donald Trump didn't commit it because Michael Cohen paid the porn star off. He went and borrowed the money. He got a loan to pay Stormy Daniels off, and then he came to Donald Trump, and in a split second said, hey, I had to pay this thing off. And Donald Trump's like, yeah, whatever. Thank you, TN News, the donor for the transplants, 10 out of 10. Great news, man. Great news. I'm so happy for you. God does miracles. Got to keep thanking God for it. God's the only one responsible, so thank goodness. That's good news. So these people that are so smart are clueless. And here's Cuomo. Now the other cases against Donald Trump, I mean, they're reasonable. They should be prosecuted. It's just because of presidential immunity is why other presidents haven't been prosecuted. No, it isn't. It's because they're all corrupt. And if you prosecute one for this one, then you got everybody else staring at you ready to prosecute you. See, that's what they do is they get them all together and they all know the dirt on each other. That way they all keep each other dishonest. So instead of keeping each other honest, they keep each other dishonest. Presidential immunity is why they do that. So that's why they don't prosecute. They don't prosecute for that reason at all. So Cuomo's like, oh, the other cases are valid cases. No. You can't prosecute someone for questioning an election. No, let me rephrase that. You can prosecute a ham sandwich, as Alan Dershowitz said. Yes, you can prosecute anybody for anything. Do you have a legal leg to stand in on court? Should you have a legal leg to stand on in court? Nope, you shouldn't. I don't. This is what gets me the most. I was listening to Don Jr. and his interview with Tucker Carlson this morning. And he's like, well, you know, this is a scary time. They could prosecute Donald Trump. They could prosecute anybody. The American people could be prosecuted for these things. He said, could with a C, not would with a W. We could be prosecuted for crimes that don't exist. I'm 17 years old. A bitch I went to school with, a preppy bitch I went to school with who never had time for me. No, they never let me see the comments. Hardly ever. So a guy I go to school with comes to me and he says, hey man, I've got some pot. Will you hold my pot for me? And I said, well, I don't want to, but I'll hold it for you. I'm in college and I need someone to hold my pot. So he takes his pot, brings it to my house, and I hold his pot. He calls me a week later. Hi, can I come get some of my pot? Sure. Well, would you bring me a little of my pot? I don't really want to deliver your pot, but okay. So I bring his pot back to him. There you go. 2 felonies. Now, was it his pot? It wasn't his pot. Guess whose pot it was? The Hickory Police Department's pot. Because he got busted with his mushrooms. So to get out of his charge of many years in prison for mushrooms, which don't have a medicinal purpose, it's like a class 4 drug. So his class 4 mushrooms that he got busted with, like pounds of it, he gets busted with mushrooms. And then he said, then he talks to the Hickory Police Department and they say, hey, why don't you take our pot and give him, and then you could ask him for the pot back, let him have, and then he'll give the pot back, and that's 2 felonies. That sound like a crime? You should have known it was pot. Pot's illegal. Okay. Pot's illegal. There's no difference in that. No difference. The Hickory Police Department putting pot underneath my seat while I'm in the store and coming out. Say I've got my doors unlocked on my car. They come in, they put pot under my seat, and then they come and 10 minutes after I get in and say, whoa, we've got you with pot. You're gonna have felonies now. Your life is destroyed. No difference. They could arrest American citizens now because they went after Donald Trump. Between me and Donald Trump is that Donald Trump thought, I'll go to Congress, I'll go to the White House, I'll go as head of this place, and I'll show them how much I love America. And when I do that, when I turn this situation around, because he was absolutely the best president in our world history. In world history, Donald Trump is the best president. I'll tell you that. 1,000,000%. No new wars, big money, low gas prices, drill baby drill. Absolutely. But he hired, I'm going to drain the swamp. He got right in the middle of it and said, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job. He gave the swamp the job. And listen, now people will say, well, he hired people from Goldman Sachs. He hired big bankers. If you've got a problem of debt, who do you go to? You go to a man that controls money and ask him how you use it. So if you've got a business you're trying to run, you hire the man with the most experience and the most accolades for success in that business. That's what he did. Unfortunately, he got those people, some people, from the swamp, like Mike Pompeo, who was a machine shop at his house, and he did that before he got into the CIA. You don't go from making drill bits straight into the CIA. It don't work like that. Gina Haspel, we'll just make her head of the CIA, who's worked for Obama, who worked for Bush. Bill Barr, Attorney General Bill Barr, who was the Keebler Elf before the Keebler Elf before him, the douchebag from Louisiana. Remember the little short guy he had as his district attorney then, who did nothing, I got more steel in my flaccid penis than he had in his whole body. Jeff Sessions, totally worthless. And then he gets Bill Barr. Why would he hire Bill Barr? Guess who Bill Barr is? Do you know? Bill Barr's daddy helped train and mold and mentor Jeffrey Epstein. Alex Azar, Trump had him on his legal team. He was an assistant attorney general. Alex Azar, what did he do? He's the one that gave Epstein that sweetheart deal on the first conviction where he said, you could be on house arrest and you can be on house arrest and still have sex with minors. Did Donald Trump do this himself? No. He had advisors. Mike Pence advised him. Chris Christie advised him. He went to the swamp for advice on who to hire people from the swamp. Have you heard nonviolent felons can get our rights back? Yes, you can get your rights to carry back. But here's the big but. If you, and they're even more strict now. Now because this is one thing about Obamacare people don't understand. Now with Obamacare, they can link your criminal history with your medical history, and they can do that with your credit history. So now they've got 3 pools of information thanks to the Patriot Act. Remember, the Patriot Act is going to allow different government agencies to communicate. We're going to encourage people to communicate with each other. Well, Obamacare, they can say, well, we don't know enough about him, so we're going to get his medical history. Oh, you want to know his legal history? Okay, here you go. All that comes together. Here's another thing. Now, if you've been prescribed Prozac, they can refuse you your gun rights. If you're depressed, no gun rights. I'll be right back. So, yes, in many states, you can get your gun rights back after a nonviolent crime. But if you've ever had an involuntary committal, sorry, no bueno. So that's where I'm at. I can't get my rights to carry back because my sister wanted to steal my inheritance, so she had me locked away. And then after her, then Tina got mad at me and she didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want to have a discussion about our issues. So she was scared for my well-being and had me put in a mental ward. That was the last one. Now, that was bad. They drugged me and I was out for like 2 weeks. I have no idea what happened. I have zero memory for 2 weeks. None. They disappeared my memory for 2 weeks. I remember nothing. All I know is they took me, the cop showed up, picked me up, took me to the emergency room where the head doctor on call interviewed me in an emergency room. We were in the emergency room and they came up gently, grabbed me by the arm and put a needle in my arm. And then I woke up 2 weeks later. Didn't hit nobody, didn't hurt nobody. I didn't do nothing to nobody. And I'm out cold. Disgusting, despicable. Hey man, I'm subscribed to you YouTube for a long time. I always tried to comment you never seen them. Haven't seen nothing from you for months. Thought they got you. Glad to see you. Well, I went off YouTube for about 3 months, 4 months. I'm back, but I've been talking now for about 2 months. I've been back on, but nobody sees me. Nobody hears me. Notifications never work. Nothing happens. Oh, the houseboat got. Guess what? After I wanted to build a houseboat and I get everything done, then they passed. Now, you could say coincidence, but in my life there are no coincidences. But after I get everything ready for my houseboat, guess what they did? Oh, they passed a law saying, oh no, they're not counting houseboats anymore. They're called floating cabins. And if you want a floating cabin, then you have to get a 30-year permit. And there's only one lake in North Carolina that allows on full time. And with a floating cabin, then the regulations are even stricter than they are for building a house. Therefore, you have to get permits, and everything is looked after very, very closely. Of course, this is after 3 years of me accumulating parts, me talking to every person in charge about, can I live on the water? Can I build? What are the regulations? There are no regulations. Build your own boat. If it's got a motor, you have to register. If it doesn't have a motor, you don't have to register. You can do anything you want and live in. It doesn't matter. It's the lake. It's free land. It's free for you to do what you want. But as soon as I'm ready, no. Killed it all. Killed it all. Done. No more. So, I found the way out of my prison, and they built a bigger one around it. I crawled through the tunnel for 3.5 years. I dug a tunnel 30 feet underground. And when I got outside of the fence of the prison, they had built a bigger one around me. God bless.